Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a story that completely flips our modern idea of success right on its head. It's based on Robin Sharma's massive bestseller, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. If you're out there hustling to achieve great things, but you kind of want to make sure you don't lose your soul in the process, well, you are in the exact right place.
So let's kick things off with a pretty heavy question. Would you trade your Ferrari for happiness? Or, whatever your personal ultimate symbol of success is. Would you give it all up for true, lasting peace? Because that is the whole premise of our explainer today. We're looking at the wild story of a guy who literally left everything he owned behind to figure out the true meaning of life.
And that brings us right to our main guy, Julian Mantle. This book is such a powerful narrative because it takes this rich, ancient spiritual wisdom from the East and it smashes it right together with the hard-hitting, practical principles of Western success. It's honestly not just about giving up all your stuff, it's about gaining this incredibly vibrant, fulfilling life.
Now, to really grasp the lessons here, we've got to understand who Julian was. At the start, this guy is a brilliant, totally intimidating super lawyer. He's got the massive oak desk, the fancy quotes on the wall, the whole 9 yards. But behind the scenes, his life is a total mess. He's incredibly stressed out, super unbalanced, and just obsessed with making money. But then the Julian we meet later on, totally different guy. He's transformed into this serene, youthful-looking sage with perfect health and deep inner peace, like a complete 180. So how on earth did he get there?
Well, the catalyst for this massive transformation was, honestly, an absolute disaster. A massive heart attack. And it didn't just happen quietly at home, oh no. It struck him down right in the middle of a huge murder trial on a Monday morning in courtroom number 7. Talk about a wake-up call, right? This was his ultimate inciting incident, a spiritual crisis that literally forced him to drop everything, confront life's biggest questions, and journey all the way to the peaks of the Himalayas to seek out a legendary group of wise men. Let's look at the first part of his journey, mastering the mind and finding purpose. So, high up in those mountains, Julian meets a sage named Yogi Raman. And Raman shares this really mystical, kind of bizarre fable to help anchor 7 core virtues. I want you to visualize this with me. Picture a splendid, incredibly lush garden. And right smack in the middle of it stands this towering, majestic lighthouse. It sounds like a dream, I know, but let's break down exactly what these vivid symbols mean for your actual everyday life. First up, that splendid garden. This is a direct symbol for your mind. The big takeaway here is that the quality of your life is entirely determined by the quality of your thoughts. It's that simple. If you tend to your mind like a master gardener, pulling the weeds and planting good seeds, it's going to flourish beyond your wildest expectations. The garden teaches us that there really are no mistakes in life, only lessons. We have to start viewing our setbacks not as failures, but as absolutely vital opportunities to grow. But how do you actually do that, right? To achieve this kind of serenity and finally kick that exhausting habit of constantly worrying, Julian learned some very specific, actionable practices. One is called the heart of the rose, where you literally just focus deeply on a single rose to quiet all that mental chatter and create a silent little oasis in the middle of your crazy day. Or there's opposite thinking, where the second a negative thought pops up, you deliberately replace it with a positive one. These aren't just fluffy, abstract concepts. They are legit, daily mental workouts designed to help you take back control of your focus. Okay, so what about that towering lighthouse? That brilliantly illustrates our second virtue. Think about what a lighthouse does. It provides direction and guidance. In the fable, it stands for pursuing your life's true purpose. The fundamental lesson here is that the purpose of life is a life of purpose. Figuring out and then actually carrying out your unique goal brings this deep-rooted, lasting satisfaction that, honestly, no amount of money or flashy courtroom victories ever could have given Julian. But, as we all know, a purpose is just a dream without a plan. The sages taught that by leaning into deep self-examination and setting super clear personal, professional, and spiritual goals, you basically unlock a step-by-step roadmap to fulfillment. They actually teach a specific 5-step method for this. But honestly, the real secret ingredient? It isn't just the planning phase. It's having the absolute undeniable courage to act on those objectives once you've defined them. Which leads us perfectly into this absolute gem of a quote from the text. The secret of happiness is simple. Find out what you truly love to do and then direct all of your energy towards doing it. I mean, it hits the nail right on the head. The source material points out that when you finally focus your energy this way, abundance just naturally eliminates your life, and your desires actually begin to be fulfilled almost effortlessly.
Moving right along to part 2, continuous growth and discipline. Now back to our mystical fable. The peaceful scene with the garden and the lighthouse gets abruptly interrupted. Suddenly, stepping right out of that lighthouse is a 9-foot-tall, 900-pound sumo wrestler. And get this, he is wearing absolutely nothing except a pink wire cable. Look, I know it sounds completely ridiculous, but there's a reason for that. These bizarre, wacky images are actually incredibly powerful mnemonic devices designed so your brain literally never forgets them.
So, what's the deal with the sumo wrestler and his unique outfit? The sumo wrestler is the third virtue. He symbolizes kaizen. That's the Japanese philosophy of continuous, never-ending improvement. It's about constantly pushing yourself to grow and expand your limits. And that bizarre pink wire cable, that's virtue number 4. It represents living with iron discipline and willpower. Think of it this way. A wire cable is made up of dozens of tiny, weak little threads that are woven together to create this immense, unbreakable strength. Your personal willpower is built the exact same way, through tiny, disciplined little acts every single day.
Let's jump to part 3, time and selfless service.
Okay, so we've got the discipline part down, but now we have to direct it outward. As the fable rolls on, our massive sumo wrestler happens upon a shiny gold stopwatch on the ground. He slips on it, knocks himself out cold, but then is miraculously revived by the sweet scent of fragrant yellow roses. Again, super distinct, trippy imagery meant to literally burn these next 2 virtues into your memory for good.
That gold stopwatch? It's a glaring symbol for the 5th virtue, respecting your own time. The monks teach us to recognize time for what it truly is, our absolute most precious commodity. We've got to ruthlessly protect it, right? We need to focus our hours on what actually matters, instead of running that frantic, empty, exhausting rat race that gave Julian a heart attack in a courtroom. Honestly, mastery of your time is quite literally mastery of your life.
And then there's the fragrant roses. These represent the 6th virtue, which is selflessly serving others. There's this gorgeous ancient proverb tied to this. A trace of fragrance always clings to the hand that gives you roses. Wow. It's a reminder that no matter how rich or successful we might become, true wealth and the actual elevation of your own life comes from compassion and from serving the people around you. This is where Julian truly shifted from a guy obsessed with his own prestige to someone dedicated to actually enriching the world.
Which brings us to part 4, embracing the present moment.
This 7th and final virtue is the glue that ties all of this together into your daily life. In the last act of Ramon's fable, our awakened sumo wrestler gets up and walks down this winding path covered in millions of sparkling diamonds. This path of diamonds symbolizes the ultimate realization, embracing the present moment. It's a wake-up call that you cannot, under any circumstances, sacrifice your daily joy just for the sake of some future achievement. The book gives us some really grounded, practical ways to actually live in the now. Things like truly being present to experience your kids' childhoods while they're happening, practicing daily gratitude, and I mean simple stuff like intentionally watching a sunrise, actually listening to a great piece of music, or just taking a walk outside. We're challenged to savor the journey and literally live each single day as if it were our last. Think about this. The average 4-year-old laughs like hundreds of times a day. But as adults, we have to deliberately fight to regain that kind of pure presence and joy. And finally, part 5, becoming the architect of your future. When Julian finally wrapped up sharing all this incredible wisdom with his old colleague, he left behind nothing but an empty teacup on the table and one seriously profound challenge. He said, stop being a prisoner of your past. Become the architect of your future. It's like the Taj Mahal, right? That wasn't built in a day. It was built block by block, day by day, under a scorching sun. And every single one of us has that exact same potential to build a magnificent life, just habit by habit. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to wrap up our explainer today. Knowing these 7 virtues, the garden, the lighthouse, the sumo wrestler, the wire cable, the stopwatch, the roses, and the diamonds, well, that's really only the beginning. The real question is, what single specific change are you actually going to make tomorrow to start building your very own path of diamonds?